Good evening, my beautiful and amazing people. It's your girl, Rachel K. And we're back this evening with another exciting and amazing episode of Ladies with Stories. TGIF, girl. TGIF, TGIF. How are you? How was your week? Hope you had a great week. Please kindly drop in the comment section where you are viewing from. Let people know you are live and Ladies with Stories is live. So kindly comment in the section box. I'm waiting. Where are you viewing from? How are you doing? Hi, Mata. Good evening. How are you today? Happy weekend, TGIF. Kindly share this with your friends. Let them know we are live. Share it on your profile, on your status. Let people know we are live. Kindly like and comment on it. Thank you. Hi, Angela. How are you doing? TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. Hope you're doing very well. Where are you viewing from? Kindly drop a comment in the section box. Let us know where you're viewing from. Hi, everyone. Hope you're fine. Hope everyone is fine. It's a beautiful evening, and our guest is right here in the studio, and we're ready to start. So we just need you to let people know that we are live. Get your friends in here. Let them know we're live. Get everyone that needs to be here. Let them know Ladies with Stories is live, and we are ready to start this evening. And we just want you to know that we love you. Thank you for the support. Thank you for coming out this evening. I know it's Friday, you need to be resting, but you're here. And I'm sure you're going to learn something beautiful. And if you have any question, you can please write your question and keep while the discussion is on, you can post it, or you can just wait until after the discussion and then you can ask your questions. Okay. So kindly share this before we start. I just need to introduce Ladies with Stories again because I know we have people that are just joining us for the first time. Ladies with Stories is a platform that inspires and empowers women to succeed. We do this through our Friday shows just like this, where we bring a guest to share her story or to share a topic that we find very interesting and that will be empowering for people to learn. We also have our conferences where we host young girls, young females around the globe, just to educate them on issues that are bothering them. We have our Wednesday Woman where we celebrate hard and smart working women around the globe. And tonight, I remain your baby girl for life, Rachel K. So get everyone here, share this video, let people know we are live, and we will start once as 10 minutes after 7. So just get everyone in here, just get the people you can get in. Just help me share this video, let people know we are live. Help me like it, share, like, share, like, share, like. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. It's going to be an interesting evening, believe me. Hi, Anita. Hi, Nasarawa this evening. Hope you're having a good time in Nasarawa. Please help us share this with your friends. Let them know Ladies with Stories is live. And we're ready to start. Okay, so we are 6 right now. Hi, JK. We can't wait to have you on the show. We can't wait to have you take us on something else. We look forward to having you pretty soon. Please, you can comment with where you are viewing from so we can say hello to the people in your vicinity. Ladies with Stories is live, and we are here with another inspiring topic today. Last week we spoke about worries, and that was what birthed our topic for this week. We said worry, it's kind of more like a stagnant water. It doesn't let you grow. It stings. It eats you up. It can lead to high blood pressure. And we spoke about how to avoid, overcome your worries, find somebody find the main issue, what is disturbing you, track that issue, find help, find professionals. And then God was the ultimate at the end of the day. But today I said, okay, let's look into this topic in detail, because while I was going through worries, I realized, oh, there is a disorder called generalized anxiety disorder. What could that be? Am I actually having generalized anxiety disorder? Could I be in that situation and I don't know? Or could we have friends that in that situation and they don't know? And how do we overcome that? And luckily for us, we have Dr. Gabby in the house. So free consultation this evening. Get your questions ready. Get everyone that needs to be here at the moment. We just have 2 more minutes. If you haven't shared, we're supposed to see 10 shares because I can see 10 people. So 10 shares and I can only see 2 shares right now. So please help me click on the share button and share it. Please help me do that. Share, like, comment, share, like, comment, and tell your friends that are not on Facebook. We are live on YouTube, so they can catch it up on YouTube. We're live on YouTube, so you can catch it up on YouTube, okay? So kindly help me share this. Kindly help me share this. Let people know Ladies with Stories is live. Hello, Abigail. Hello, Gift. Hello, Blossom. It's good to have everyone here. Kindly share this. Waiting on your shares. I'm waiting. I'm looking. The shares are not increasing, so I'm looking. Who hasn't shared this video? Who hasn't shared this video? Kindly share this video. Kindly like and share, okay? All right, 1 more minute to go before we bring our amazing guest. It's a privilege to have our guest after squeezing her from her tight schedule. So please, guys, let's love up. Let's love up this evening. Let's love up, guys. Let's love up. Let's show her the lost community love. In the next 1 minute, we'll be bringing our guest here. Get your pen, get your paper, get your questions. Get ready to learn something new, even not for yourself, but for someone else. Someone you might meet might be in this condition and you need to speak to that person. So get yourself ready to learn this evening. Are you ready to learn? Drop a 1 if you're ready to learn, please. Drop a 1 in the comment section if you're ready to learn. Hi, Ketura. If you're ready to learn, drop a 1 in the comment section. And if you're ready for us to start, drop a 1 also. So we're waiting on the ones. Who is ready? Drop a 1 in the comment section. Yes, let's go there. All right, guys, let's go. We're seeing the ones. The ones are coming in. The ones are coming in. Hi, Harrietta. Good evening. Thank you for coming on the show. Drop your ones. Ready to learn. Yes, we are ready to learn, girl. We are ready. Let's go. Loving the vibes this evening, guys. It's amazing to have everyone here. I am also ready to learn. I need to drop 1 because I am ready and the guest is ready. So it's time to bring up our guest this evening. We attached her biography earlier. So Dr. Gabmen is going to be taking us through the topic generalized anxiety disorder. Just in case you haven't read through her biography, it's just right above this video. It's just the caption on this video. She's a medical doctor based in Ireland. She has her specialty in oncology. She's so good at what she does, and it's a privilege to share the bond called sisterhood with her this evening. Someone said, "Oh, that's my auntie. That's my auntie Taja's wife." I'm like, okay, that's my sister, girl. So please let's bring our guest this evening with a clap. Let's make welcome our guest this evening. Let's make welcome our beautiful guest all the way from Ireland. Good evening, Dr. Gabby.
Hi. Evening, everybody.
How are you
Good
doing?
to see
Thank
you
you so
guys.
much. It's so good to have you on the show tonight. And we are all ready to learn. And I'm sure everyone is excited to have you. Thank you for squeezing out time for Ladies with Stories this evening from your tight schedules. We do appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. The pleasure is mine. All right. Anyway, sorry, I'm just adjusting this a little bit. It's okay. Thank you. So, thank you so much for having me, Rachel. Thank you so much, ladies with stories. Thank you so much for another opportunity to have a chat with all the beautiful ladies and all the gentlemen around that are watching us. It's always a pleasure and it's always a privilege for Rachel to have me on. Forget that we're sisters, but
It's a privilege.
sometimes
I
we
don't
have
take
to be,
that for granted. We can't afford
we
your
have to
consultation
beg.
fee.
We have to beg to be on the show. It's all right. It's okay. Well, thank you so much. Thank you. Rachel is doing an amazing work. Ladies with Stories, like we all know, is a platform that was birthed out of so much passion, out of the need to see that women bring forth their stories and women share their stories with the world, get other people encouraged, try to form a bond. And at the end of the day, at least everybody picks something that will make them better, either through skills acquisition, through just hearing somebody's story and getting encouraged, or through mentorship programs, things like that. As we can see the testimonies and all of those things on the page, it shows that definitely this is a platform to be. And thank you so much for having me. Yeah.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. All right. So
Oh,
tonight we'll be talking about generalized anxiety disorder. We stumbled across that phrase or that term last week while we were discussing worries, and I felt it was only right to have a professional speak with us about this topic. What is it all about? Is it something we should be scared of? Is it something we should, look out for? So I'm just going to give you the next 30 minutes. Please go ahead, speak to us about this. Please, please do not use medical jargons for us. We do not understand this. So please bring it to the layman language. Bring them the way we go understand them. More run and that way. Thank you so much. And please feel at home. You are at home.
all right. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So let's dive straight into the topic. Generalized anxiety disorder. Forget the big name. It sounds very huge. Forget it. It's basically worry. Worry that impairs your everyday functioning. So medically, if our definition for generalized anxiety disorder is any sort of worry, any sort of anxiety that impairs you from carrying out your day-to-day functioning, impairs you from having your normal life, impairs you from going to work, taking care of yourself, looking after your kids, impairs you from just doing your basic work. That's when we know that this thing called anxiety or this thing called worry is really a problem. And at that point, you need help from a professional. So yes, so just by way of definition, I would say generalized anxiety is basically anxiety or basically worry that stops you from functioning properly in terms of your day-to-day activities. Is that okay?
Yes.
And feel free to just interrupt me. I'm going to make it as brief, as basic as possible, as brief as possible, so that it gives us more time in terms of questions. Whoever has questions, just put it down and we're going to answer. So maybe it will be more interactive if I don't talk too much and I let you guys ask me questions, and then we can discuss the questions. That way you get to benefit more from it than me just talking and talking. So, so that's the basic definition of generalized anxiety disorder. It's anxiety that impairs your daily functioning. So, if you have anxiety or you have worry, so in the Western world, it is called anxiety. Back in Africa, we call it nervousness, we call it worry, we call it anxiousness. If there's, those are the things that we always call it. We don't call it anxiety. No, I realize that, having practiced here for a while, it's called anxiety here. Back home, it's called worry, nervousness, and all things like that. So it doesn't start from just, it starts over time, where you realize that, okay, it's something that you probably just noticed your friend or your family member going through. they're always worried about something, always complaining, things are not going well. Let's go back to Nigeria, nah, the government is this one is that. Today they are worried about the government, tomorrow they're worried about the system, the day after tomorrow they're concerned about their kids not being able to afford good schools. Another day they are worried about, electricity, water, healthcare. It's as if the person literally has the world's worry on their shoulder. That's anxiety. So, but these things start gently, they start very gradually. So it doesn't just start as a big thing, it starts as teeny tiny worries where, it keeps building, it keeps building, it keeps building. All of a sudden, you just realize that the person is probably skipping work. They're skipping work and they're not going to work every day because, they're just depressed. That's how it starts. They just say, I'm not feeling too good. I'm just sad today. I'm just tired of everything. And then it starts like that. They tell you they're just tired of everything. And then you're like, okay. Another time they probably skip church. They skip church or they skip maybe a school function for their kid or something like that. And then you start to realize that this person is withdrawing from day-to-day activities. They are withdrawing gradually, withdrawing a little bit. They're missing appointments. They're missing school. They're becoming, they're skipping work. Things are not just, it's just not working properly for them. So with this, the person is gearing towards the point where they will seek medical help. Back in Africa, from what I've realized, at this point, this is the point where you have your mother, your father, and people around you say, what is it? It's okay. How can we help? They start to realize that you're not functioning properly. So it starts with your family members noticing. If you have a husband or a wife or a partner, they start to notice that you're just laid back, sort of laid back with everything. Nothing really motivates you again. You have no interest in your usual stuff. Let's say you have hobbies. You just have no interest in that. So it starts like that. Then you start to withdraw. Before you know it, some days you literally wake up probably 10 o'clock when everybody has gone to work, when everybody has, gone out for their day-to-day stuff. So you just kind of try to withdraw, and then you become a shadow of yourself. Gradually you become a shadow of yourself, and then people start to notice. Even people in the wider community, aside your family and friends, they start to notice, like, oh, what's wrong with this person? Why are they like this? They're a bit sad. They're not too active. People always say, oh, you're not as bubbly as yourself. You're not as, that's it. That's anxiety. That's generalized anxiety. And you can't just say, oh, it's just one thing that's making me anxious. Basically, everything around you makes you nervous, makes you concerned, you're worried. So everything makes you worried. And at that point, you really can't solve all those worries. So you just let it weigh you down. So that's the point. Those are the symptoms that, people normally present with. So just to summarize the symptoms, so I've given you like a little story so that you understand where I'm coming from in terms of breaking down generalized anxiety into the most basic form, where you can relate to, everybody can relate to in terms of day-to-day activities. So at this point, you're getting to the doctor or you're getting to the GP, or wherever you are, you're in Africa, you're getting to see somebody. Anyway, it could be a pastor, like your first point of contact in Africa might be your youth leader or your pastor or somebody, but it's hardly ever a GP. It's hardly ever a doctor. That's what I've realized. In the Western world, it will be your GP. You'll be ringing your GP, or your family would ring the GP on your behalf. So at that point, they've realized that you are withdrawing. They've realized that you have the symptoms. So just to list the symptoms again. So you have symptoms of, you're anxious or you're nervous, whichever one. You're worried about everything. It starts to affect your job. It starts to affect your lifestyle. It starts to affect your hobbies. It starts to make you withdraw from people. It starts to make you panic. You're having panic attacks. It starts to make you very, very, it just takes you away from your real self. So things like that, those are your major symptoms. At this point, it's affecting your sleep. It's either you're sleeping too much or you're sleeping too little. At this point, it's either you're eating too much or you're eating too little. You're losing weight or you're eating too much as as a means of comfort. So comfort eating, you're just eating and eating and eating and eating. And then you'll be like, this person, I haven't seen you in a long time and you're so fat now. You don't know what they're dealing with. You have no idea what they're dealing with. They're just eating because food is a comfort, is a mechanism of comfort for them. So there are a lot of things. Like I said, the symptoms are so many. It just depends on where you are. It depends on how, what you're presented with at that point. So at this point, people seek medical help. Either you do it or your family will do it for you, or your friends will do it for you. They get to the GP and the doctor is telling you, oh, okay, how are you feeling and how are things today and all, and then you're listing out all the symptoms. This is it, this is that, this is it, this is that. I'm feeling sad, I'm worried, I'm anxious, I'm not functioning properly, I'm not looking after my kid properly, I'm not doing things that I should do, I'm missing my things on my calendar, I'm skipping appointments and stuff, I'm just panicking, I'm just anxious. So the doctor is going to examine you. You're going to have a full examination. So you're seeing a GP at this point, or a doctor back home at this point, and he's going to do a full examination because there are a lot of medical reasons why you would have anxiety. So he's going to do, or he or she will do this examination for you just to see if there are other medical causes why you have anxiety, why you're panicking. It could be a lot of that. Like I said, there are other medical causes that can lead to anxiety. And every time the psychiatrist will like, or the GP would like to rule out the medical causes, meaning things that are not mental health related, before they pursue a mental health diagnosis. So that's what happens basically. So they take their time, examine you physically, and then they tell you, okay, fine. If at that point you don't have a medical cause, it means that really this is a true anxiety, meaning this is anxiety, this is generalized anxiety. You fit the criteria for diagnosis, and that's it. Then the GP or your doctor would now speak to you about treatment options. So you see, the thing with anxiety is that generally, it has to affect your day-to-day life. It has to be able to, impair your activities before somebody would really treat you. Really, if it's something that the GP thinks, oh, you're coping, you just need a little bit of, therapy, counseling here and there. You just need to adjust your lifestyle. Maybe eat healthy, stop smoking, things like that. Stop caffeine. They can advise you, like just give you the broad advice on just basic things that you can do, sleep hygiene, things that you can do to, help the anxiety. So that's the first step. The doctors normally don't just go throwing medication at you. No, they try to do the non-pharmacological pathway, try to give you counseling and try to do all those things before they, jump into medication. However, having said that, if let's say a young person now is presenting with generalized anxiety, and the GP or the doctor has looked at it and seen that this person is at risk of deterioration, or this person is at risk of suicide, or this person is at risk of some form of self-harm, then they're not going to just give you counseling. They're going to be throwing in medication at that point. So they're going to be throwing in medication at that point. But ideally, the first point, once you're diagnosed with generalized anxiety, they offer you this sort of counseling. So it's called CBT. So CBT is what cognitive behavioral therapy. So it's just an abbreviation for that, CBT. So it is like counseling. It is counseling, but this sort of counseling is very targeted at your current situation, at the current anxiety. They try to explore the reasons why you're anxious. They try to, make you use your thoughts. They give you skills, basically changing your mindset and changing how you think and just walking around your thoughts, things like that to, make you think positively and sort of be able to handle those anxious situations or those things that make you anxious. So that's the cognitive behavioral therapy. Like I said, it's like your counseling, but this is a very targeted form of counseling. They don't do too much talking about your past, your childhood, and those kind of things. No, they focus on
Mm.
the current situation, the current anxiety, and then it's, you could have maybe 6 to 12 classes, or, whatever the psychologist feels, you would have those kind of classes. They're very, very structured, really structured. So that's the first point, cognitive behavioral therapy. Then the second point, they now use drugs. So medication. So medication will be used, and the first, so there are a lot of reasons, why the doctors will be hesitant, a little bit hesitant about medications. But yes, ideally, if you're just, an average adult, you're okay, no medical issues at all, then they can give you some medication. So the first medication would be SSRIs. So SSRIs is a little abbreviation for selective serotonergic reuptake inhibitors. So these medications are given. You start with a small dose. So basically, what this drug is going to do for a patient that has generalized anxiety is that it's going to help you have more of this chemical, this serotonin. So serotonin is a chemical that you have, one of the neurotransmitters. Is going to kind of make you have more of that. So like the name, it prevents the reuptake of this chemical. So you can have more of it. And this particular chemical helps with mood, it helps with sleep, it just helps you feel good, basically. So that's what the drug does. However, like I said, there are side effects to everything. You see, there are times that the doctors will always kind of advise you. That's why doctors will take their time to advise you and, advise you on all the medications that they would like to start. They will give you options. There are some of these antidepressants or anti-anxiety medications that, if you're pregnant, you can't have as a woman. You can't, they wouldn't let you have it. But at times they would weigh the benefit and the risk. If they feel, like I said, you're at risk of harming yourself from this anxiety, if they feel that you're at risk of deterioration from this anxiety, if they feel you're at risk of suicide from this anxiety, they might just throw in the medication and just kind of keep monitoring you like that. So that's it. So treatment wise, like I said, it's two things. Either you have the therapy, which is a cognitive behavioral therapy, or you have the medication, which is the selective serotonergic reuptake inhibitors. So, which you have, very, very common one that I know here in Europe is sertraline. So a lot of people are given sertraline. You start with a very tiny dose, and then you kind of move the dose up as the weeks go on. The GP would always advise you on how to get the dose titrated upward. So yeah, so that's about it with the treatment. So in terms of treatment, so like I said, the GP or your doctor would determine if you need treatment, and he will determine, there's going to be risk stratification. People that are, let's say you have a child now who is into drugs, who is into, cocaine, heroin, and all those things, their risk of committing suicide is much higher if they have generalized anxiety disorder compared to a teenager who is fine, or an adult who is okay and, has no other comorbidities. So another risk factor will be that if you have an existing mental health problem, let's say people that are schizophrenic, people that have bipolar disorder, people that have other mental health issues, if you add generalized anxiety on top of it, that person is at a higher chance of suicide, they're at a higher chance of continuous self-harm. So for this kind of groups, for these groups of people, you will definitely be considering medication firsthand, because you don't want your patient to end up in suicide. So that's the worst thing that can happen to a psychiatrist. I don't know if some of my psychiatry friends are here. They would write in the comments, that's the worst thing ever to happen to a psychiatrist or to a GP. that a patient that you saw ended up committing suicide. So things like that. So that's basically the endpoints that everybody wants to avoid: suicide and self-harm. So that's why these options are always discussed. And most times these things are discussed, with the family members there. So the mom, if it's a child, the parents will be there, parents will be there, or family members are going to be there. If it's an adult, maybe your spouse will be called in because you need help. You really need help. It's
Mm.
not about taking medication and just attending this structured therapy classes. No, at times you would need help from your partner, you would need help from your friends. So it's good for even your friends to know about it because you need the support. So you need the support from people around you, especially the people that are close to you. Excuse me. So that's basically the treatment options that we have at the moment. So those two treatment options, like I said, the antidepressants, there are different types. The anti-anxiety, there are different types. So it depends on what your doctor feels that you have, what condition that you have. Then they choose whatever they think will suit you.
So it's
So
more like a
now
personalized treatment.
it's like a personalized treatment, exactly. It's like a personalized treatment. If you have, some people have probably had this medications in the past and then they've ended up being very fat, things like that. So it'd be very hard to convince someone
Yeah.
who has had the same treatment in the past to take the same thing again. So you'll be looking for another line of treatment. You'll be looking for other treatment, medication options for the person. So it's very personalized. Depends on what it is, that you're coming in with. So lastly, before I round up my own session, just to dwell on the side effects of this medication. So the side effects, at times, you see psychiatry patients, at times they're, patients don't like medication. No matter how unwell they are, some of them do not like medication.
Mm.
Generalized anxiety is something that, yes, can be treated with just the therapy without the medication. However, there are times that people will relapse and they will still end up having both the therapy and the medication. At times you would have both of them. At times you would have one of the other, whichever one it is. But if for any reason the psychiatrist or your GP or your doctor ends up putting you on the medication, these are the side effects to always watch out. So you have increased appetite, you have the normal side effects of nausea, vomiting, which you have on even paracetamol that is as basic as anything. So you have nausea, you have vomiting, you can just have stomach abdominal cramps, you can have increased appetite, you can have weight gain. Some people have weight gain, some people lose weight. You can have either of those. So those are the side effects that you always watch out. Your sleep, you can be anxious. The first couple of weeks when you start the antidepressant, you might end up being a little bit more anxious than you were. So you might be a little bit anxious than you were. So I'm calling this medication antidepressant because it's the same medication we give to patients who are depressed. So that's it. So you would have, increased anxiousness. You just be a little bit anxious, a bit nervous. Probably the sleep might not happen well. Your sleep might be impaired, and then you have all this abdominal discomfort and all of that. But after some time, people just sort of stabilize on the medication. If it's weight gain, that is a problem. Some people would go back to the GP and ask the GP for another option of medication, and then you can be switched to another class of medication. So, but these are the normal, like everyday side effects that you'd have with the anti-anxiety medications. So, weight gain or weight loss for some people. Appetite can change. Sleep can be disturbed. You can be more anxious. You can have vomiting, nausea, abdominal cramps, and things like that. And then it can also interact with some other medications as well. And so it needs constant monitoring and constant follow-up. So that's it. That's it. Sorry, my stand is falling off. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Dr. Gabby. That is a whole lot to take in at the same time. It's beginning to sound scary, but a bit comforting knowing that there's a limit to it. There is an extent at which before you get the medication. I was seeing a
Hmm.
question. John was asking that are there like non-medical means of curing generalized anxiety disorder?
Yes. So the non-medical means will be your non-pharmacological options, which are the therapy. Like I said, the therapy for this generalized anxiety disorder is not your usual counseling. So, like in Nigeria now, people are going to say, oh yeah, I can go to a counselor and speak to a counselor. It's not every counselor that does CBT. So it has to be a trained psychologist that does this particular type of structured counseling. So CBT is a non-pharmacological, non-medication, treatment where you sit down and have sessions. Like I said, you can have maybe 10, 12 sessions with this therapist, and they explain to you what you need to do, how you need to change your, way of thinking. They work with your thoughts, they work with positive thinking and all those kind of things, and then they help you control your anxiety. So you work actively towards controlling your anxiety by changing literally the way you think, things like that. So that's the non-pharmacological way of treating generalized anxiety.
Okay, thank you. I just have some few questions before we take some of the questions. You, as you were talking, you made mention of, okay, it gets to a point where it deteriorates, and then before the medication is being taken, how would you know when it's deteriorating? How would you know before it gets to that point?
So so before it gets to that point, so the GPs, what the doctors will do is that they once you go into them and this is your concern, they start to monitor you. So they monitor you and they listen to the duration of these symptoms. If your symptoms have been going on for, let's say, 3 months, that's a long time actually, or 6 months, that's a long time for you to be having this kind of anxiety. But then they look at, are you able to go to work? Yes. Are you still functioning at work? Yes. Are you still looking after your kids? You say yes. Are you still able to take your kids to school, do their homework for them? Yes. Are you still able to enjoy family time? Yes. Are you still able to sleep at night? Yes. Are you having panic attacks? No. Or yes, whichever one. So they kind of gauge it. They gauge it. So you have visits. If at that visit they gauge it and they feel that, oh, you're still okay, you can manage, you don't need medication at this point, then they wait. But then they put a follow-up appointment, maybe in 4 weeks or in 3 months. They put a follow-up appointment and they give you uh like a crisis line in case you feel like you're becoming more unwell.
Okay.
So that way they monitor you continuously, and when they feel that your symptoms are changing, you start to tell them all the positive things they want to hear, like, I'm not able to cope, guy, I'm not able to cope, I can't do this, I can't even go to work, I'm thinking of harming myself, committing I'm thinking of suicide, but I have no plan. Those kind of things are the things that will start to alarm the doctor, like, okay, I need to throw in medication, I need to do something, I need to give, get her, CBT, things like that. Before then, the doctor probably would have connected you to a psychologist for a CBT session, but because of course Europe, the waiting list is always going to be very long. So the doctors basically will gauge your symptoms on each visit, and they will ask you to ring them back if you feel that you're getting worse, or when they see you at follow up, they can sort of let you know, okay, fine, we're throwing in medication, we think you're getting worse.
Okay. So just to come in from there, we our fan base, our crowd is mostly in Nigeria, and you have worked
Mm-hmm.
as a doctor in Nigeria. So do you think this processes are like kind of interrelated? Is that the same thing that is applicable in Nigeria, or do you think there's a little bit more processes that we need to take in Nigeria?
So processes in terms of what needs to be done, in terms of what needs to be done if somebody has generalized anxiety, is that what you mean?
Yes.
Yes. So I think in Nigeria, First of all, in Nigeria, if you have any mental health issue, automatically you have a stigma. They feel like,
Mm,
oh my God, you are mad. You're literally mad.
mm,
Be it anxiety, be it psychosis, whatever it is, as long as you have any need to see a psychiatrist, you are tagged mad. So nobody wants to even head there. So having worked in Nigeria, I've realized that a lot of people with anxiety don't actually get to the psychiatrist.
mm,
They end up with their pastors, they end up with their youth leaders, they end up with their parents as their counselors, and then they end up withdrawing. Maybe they end up speaking with their friends. We don't have this system in place. We don't have all of this system in
wow.
place for you to see a GP. First of all, we do even operate GP services. So we go to the hospital and you have a general outpatient, yes. But the thing is that you don't have that access immediately to see a specialist for this generalized anxiety, for you to even get diagnosed. Like before you get to see a psychiatrist, probably if you go private in Nigeria, that might work faster, but it would be just a normal doctor that will see you, and probably they would just tell you, oh, okay, counseling. But where would you find the counselor? Where would you find the psychologist? They probably would give you some medication as well. Now, there are other medications that people give. So this what I've just said now is basically what we do what I know exists in Europe, in America. This is basically the treatment guideline. You start with counseling, this particular counseling I spoke about, the CBT, then you do medication and all of that, or you can do both. But in Nigeria, they can throw in things like diazepam, benzos. They throw in things like benzodiazepams that people take, and then it calms them down for a while. They feel good. Then after a few hours, the anxiety is back. And at times, people now get hooked up to these benzos and they become addicted to it. And then it becomes a circle. So yeah, no, back in Nigeria, I think if you think you have generalized anxiety, then it's better to find help through a private route. If you go private, you might see a psychiatrist soon enough who will give you the right diagnosis, because there are other psychiatric conditions that present, first of all, with generalized anxiety
Mm,
before the main diagnosis comes. So a psychiatrist will be able to lead you on. But if you go the public route, you might end up seeing one or two doctors who would give you short-acting medications, and that's it. It doesn't treat anything. It doesn't do much for you.
okay.
So that's it.
All right. And we have loads of questions in the comment section, but I just want to ask one more question before I just open it up for the questions. Is generalized anxiety disorder hereditary? Can you inherit it?
So generalized anxiety it's not inherited per se. It's not inherited. It doesn't mean that your granddad had anxiety, you will have anxiety. No.
Yeah.
But if you have a family member who has anxiety or who has any mental health condition, it puts you at a higher risk of having that. So it just increases your risk. But it's not hereditary. You don't just inherit it. No, it's not. It puts you at a higher risk of it. Yes, if there's somebody that has it, you have a chance of developing it. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Gabby. So let's just get some of the questions in. They'll be running through the screen
Mhm.
if you're able to see. But if you're not able, I can read it
Mm,
through.
I can't see the screen. No, I can't see okay, yeah. I can see one now. What's the relationship between generalized anxiety disorder and depression?
Depression.
Can generalized anxiety lead to or worsen depression? Can depression cause or worsen? So, can generalized anxiety cause or worsen depression? So, basically, Princess, hi, Princess. So, Princess is asking what's the relationship between generalized anxiety and depression. Can
Anxiety
one
and depression.
worsen the other? So the difference, the relationship really between generalized anxiety and depression is that somebody has all of the symptoms. You start to worry, you start to panic. There are different things that you feel are not going well and they need to go well, and you are stuck on, things need to go well, they're not going well, and you're worried. You fall into depression. You fall into depression because, first of all, your mood becomes low. You become sad, basically. Your mood becomes low, and then you are stuck in your own world. You're not able to solve what exactly it is that is going on. You're not able to help this anxiety. Therefore, you just retract. So, generalized anxiety can lead to depression. At the end of the day, how would you know that you're depressed from having generalized anxiety? How would you know you're depressed when you decide to just literally shut everybody out? You
Wow.
stop sleeping properly. You probably sleep maybe 1 hour at night or 2 hours at night. The symptoms are interconnected. So the symptoms that you have for generalized anxiety are basically about the same that you have for depression. So they're interconnected. So your mood is low. You're tired of being anxious. You're tired of all the things that are not going well. Then you end up being depressed. You're sad. You stop going to work. You stop eating properly. You stop looking after yourself. You stop caring much. You just go downhill. So absolutely, it can worsen depression, definitely. And like I said, the medication is the same thing that we give for depression and for anxiety. So that's it.
Thank you. Think we our next question, please.
So what are the non-medical ways to manage anxiety? Okay, hi Joanne. I think I've answered that. So it will be cognitive behavioral therapy. So that's CBT.
Okay.
Then the next question that I can see here is what age groups are more likely to have generalized anxiety disorder? So it could be, so I would say the age group that you have the younger people having anxiety, generalized anxiety, and then you can have maybe the middle-aged ones as well. Older people have generalized anxiety, but it's not as prominent as when you see it in child psychiatry, when you see it in teenagers, and when you see it in adults. So I'll say less than 50-year-olds. Let's put it that way. Like there are a lot of things to make you anxious, a lot and a million of things to make you anxious. So young people, young teenagers, and then adults. Yeah. And when you see it in older people, it's taken more seriously. When you see it in older people, it's taken more seriously because older people have, there's more risk of suicide in the older people as well. So if it's seen in older
I thought
people,
it was in the
we
younger
take it
people.
exactly. Yes, we've realized that older people have a very high risk of suicide.
Wow. Okay. Next question.
So next question is from Ruth. So, hi Ruth. So, what's the root cause for anxiety and how can generalized anxiety be managed locally? So, the root cause for anxiety, it could be a lot and a lot of things. We could go from, it could go from so many things, I say. So, first of all, you can have just your normal psychosocial things going on. It could be studies, it could be marriage, it could be finances, it could be, stress of, even just literally being at home. So that's anxiety doesn't have one particular thing that is a root cause, but I would say it's very multifactorial in the sense that it could be everything and literally everything. Whatever that worries you, whatever stresses you, whatever takes your peace away can be a cause for anxiety. So it could be anything. And so locally, how can you manage generalized anxiety? My advice for managing generalized anxiety locally will be do not isolate. Number one,
Okay.
do not isolate. If you're having all the symptoms that I've called out, reach out for help. How can you get help? Like I said, we don't have the systems back in Africa publicly that work. So how can you get help? You can get help by, engaging in, just speaking to your family members and just telling one person that you trust that, oh, this is how I feel. Like I'm not just feeling okay. I'm worried about this. I'm
Mm.
anxious about this. It might be something that they can even help you with. Let's say finances. Let's say health wise. Let's say it's childcare. Let's say it's something. So
Okay.
first thing first, speak to somebody that you trust. Speak to
Okay.
somebody that you trust. Do not isolate. And
Mm.
that's the first thing that you need. Engage, be part of a group. If you have an opportunity of being part of a church group, because we love church back home very well. If you're part of a church group, please just put yourself in there, be busy with activities. You see, for us Africans back in Nigeria or in whatever part of Africa, church is a social welfare group for us, really.
Yeah,
It serves
it
as our
is.
social service. So if you have a problem that you think, is beyond you, you can actually, somebody from your church or your group, whatever group you are, can even
Mm.
help you, advise you, or link you into the right person. So first thing first, how to manage it locally. Do not isolate. Number two, get somebody that you trust and tell the person what your worries are. And then number three, if it's possible to be part of a group that you can share your concerns, share your worries, and get advice from. And then number four, you can get a doctor involved and
Mm.
get help.
Okay. Thank you. Next question, please.
Next question is Marta from Marta. Hi, Marta. So it's from what signs can someone look out for of anxiety in an introvert? So, what signs can someone look out for of anxiety in an introvert with a lot of circumstances crowding the mind of an average Nigerian woman every day? How can generalized anxiety be avoided? So, first thing first, what signs can someone look out for anxiety in an introvert? So, because this person is an introvert, so we're talking about an introvert here. So you wouldn't, they're not bubbly, they're not your classical hyper up and about kind of
Hyperactive person.
person. So yes, so the main things to look out for an introvert with anxiety is, are they sleeping enough or are they sleeping too much?
Mm.
So if they're sleeping well, so with anxiety, because you're really burdened with all the worries and all the thoughts, they hardly get enough sleep. But
Wow.
at times they might be sleeping too much as a coping mechanism. So first of all, look out. Is the person sleeping well? Are they sleep deprived? Are they getting enough sleep at night? What's their mood like? Are they very anxious and panicky? Very little things make them very panicky. You know, what's their interaction like with people around them? Are they isolating from people? Are they very nervous? Are they hiding away from people more than their usual self? So those are the kind of things. Do they find everyday activity interesting or not? Like in their introverted world, they have things that they still love. So you have to look out for that thing. Do they still do that little thing that they love? Are they still in touch with other people around them that they have? And are they sleeping well? Are they just nervous? Are they panicky? Are they always complaining to you about everything that is wrong? Everything that is wrong in Nigeria. So those are the kind of things to look at. Are they losing weight? Are they eating? So those are the very basic, subtle things that you would be able to pick out. And then, with the circumstances crowding the minds of an average Nigerian woman every day, how can generalized anxiety be avoided? So, like I said to the previous question, it can be avoided in the sense that now you know the symptoms to look out for. So, you know the symptoms to look out for. How do you try your best to avoid all of those things? So worry is something that is very, very hard to not do. No matter how I say it here, you will still go back home and think about the 1 million things that are wrong with your life, or the bills that
Absolutely.
need to be paid, or the kids. So there are a lot of things in Nigeria that are going to make you worried. But yes, so you have to constantly work on your mind. And if you feel anxious, if you feel worried, look for somebody that you trust and speak to that person. Just always find someone that you trust and speak to the person, and you might be able to get a headway from there. Never ever isolate. That will be the main thing. All right. So next question is from Princess. At what point should you seek help? So, like I said previously, at what point should you seek help? If you feel that your day-to-day activities are impaired, meaning you're not functioning properly, meaning you're skipping work, you're skipping school activities for your kid, you're not interested in the normal things that give you pleasure, you're losing weight, you're panicking, you're anxious about things, then you need help. Don't wait till you start to feel the thought of harming yourself, or you start to feel like committing suicide. Don't wait to get to that point at all. It's very extreme. So you don't want to get there and they never come back. So as soon as possible, if you start to have the symptoms, just get help. And at times it's good to listen to your partners, because the partners kind of get a sense of the anxiety even before the person, your family
Yeah.
can get a sense of it. So listen to them as well. Next question is, what's the difference between psychiatrist and a psychologist? So a psychiatrist is a medical doctor who went to medical school for 6 years or whatever number of years and has gotten a medical degree, but has chosen to specialize in psychiatry. So
Oh.
after another 7 years, they become psychiatrist. So that's a medical doctor who specialized, has gotten a specialty in psychiatry. So they are called a psychiatrist. Then a psychologist is somebody who went to school, not a medical school. A psychologist is somebody who went to school, got a degree in psychology, and is currently working in a health service. They work in a health service because they work as part of a multidisciplinary team where you have a medical doctor, you have a psychiatrist, you have a psychologist, you have occupational therapists and other people working, just to help people with their mental health. So the psychologist would carry on with all this therapy that I spoke about, the CBT, or even normal counseling, whatever it is, psychologists will do the counseling part. So as a psychiatrist, you can refer a patient to a psychologist if you feel that they are not at a point where they need medication, or if you feel that they need counseling as well as medication. So psychologists do counseling, they do therapy, and all of those things. So that's the difference.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Gabby. This is like a whole lot of questions tonight.
You're
It's
welcome.
been raining questions and still raining questions. Thank you so much. It's really an amazing topic to discuss, thinking about it and looking at Nigeria, you have every reason why people are in that situation. So I think from a standpoint of how do we really, really avoid this, it's literally we can't, I'm not sure we can really avoid it, but we can manage it if we try to show support to one another, if we try to make
Hmm.
things easy for one another rather than, trying to compound everything. And are women
Hmm.
more on the verge of having anxiety, generalized anxiety disorder than men?
I think really women and men, at times you really can't say if it's women or men, because women have a lot of things that will keep our emotions erratic, make us anxious. So we have hormones acting up as well. Men have a lot of things like smoking like I'm talking about the Western world now. So men, you have more men smoking and more men drinking alcohol, and these are all risk factors to anxiety. For women, you have hormones because people are, women are always, periods. or some people are menopausal and all of that.
Yeah.
So you can have it in both, both sexes really, because there are different risk factors that would increase your chance for both sexes.
All right. Thank you so much. Guys, do we have more questions for Dr. Gabby? Let's drain her out this evening.
Hmm.
It's not easy to
Say.
get free consultation services like this.
So I think
I
somebody
think we
else
have a
is
question
asking.
up.
Yeah, how do you? So this is from somebody, Surali. Okay, hi. So it says, how do you handle a child that has anxiety problems and sees no value in him or herself? How old is this child, if I may ask? Okay, so if this child, so the person who wrote the question, they can answer, how old is this child? So so for different age groups, there are different things that you can do for children.
Okay.
So if we're talking about a teenager here, because teenagers are the ones that, everybody knows how hard it is to manage teenagers.
Yeah.
So if it's a teenager here, then maybe this teenager probably needs some kind of counseling. If you as a parent, you're trying your best and the teenager is very anxious or the child is still very anxious, and it depends if they have, background medical conditions. Let's say they have ADHD now. You're not going to probably win with that anxiety just at home. So
Mm-hmm.
an adult who is 24. Okay, so this is an adult who is 24. So if this person, how can you handle anxiety problems if the person sees no value in himself? I say first of all, you need to find the root of this anxiety. And
Yeah.
that takes me back to the question that somebody asked, what's the root of anxiety? You need to find the reason why this child is anxious. You need to find the reason why this child is not doing good. There might be something from their past. There might be something just from the present. It might be a childhood trauma. It might be something that happened. It might be school that is very hard. It might be that, if they're in Africa, it might be that, uni is very hard, or whatever level of education they're at, they're finding it very hard. Or if it's that they're looking for a job, all of these things are different ways, different sources of
Yeah.
anxiety. So if you don't find the root cause of this anxiety, this person will definitely not improve, even if you put them on medication, even if you put them through counseling. So you have to find the cause, and then if you find the cause, get this child, linked up to a therapist, or get him, linked up to a doctor who will assess him and see, what he really needs at this point. But first thing first, keep speaking to this child, find out the root cause. Why is the child having anxiety? There has to be a reason somewhere.
But what if the child does? Is it possible for the child not to know what the reason is and not be able to speak to someone? Why, like, just what if you don't know the reason?
It's possible that the child doesn't know the reason, and that's where the therapist comes in. So that's where the therapist comes in. The therapist comes in so that they can have sessions, different sessions with this child. It could be a session of maybe 1 hour session every week for 6 months or 5 months or something like that. So they explore and they see that, okay, your childhood, everything was fine. Your current state, everything is fine. Is there something else that is wrong? Then they start to explore. So that's the work of the counselor or the therapist. They explore and they find the root cause. In case you, the parent, you have no idea. So, or even the child doesn't know. So yes, you need a therapist. Absolutely, you do. So next, somebody has a question. Princess has a question. Is generalized anxiety related to self-esteem issues? Absolutely, it is related to self-esteem issues. If you don't feel good about yourself, if you don't feel that you're what, you know, you're what the time, you're what everything, if you don't feel great, definitely you will be anxious. So self-esteem, if you have self-esteem issues, there are a lot of things that you'll be avoiding. You'll be avoiding anything that has to do with, somebody revealing how, you're not good enough or something, or you'll be avoiding situations like that. So yes, it is related. It is absolutely related. If you have a low self-esteem, if somebody has a low self-esteem, they will be anxious in certain situations. They will surely be anxious. They will be nervous. They will get panicked and worried, and they won't be able to cope. And at the end of the day, your self-esteem just goes down to zero again. So it is related. Absolutely. So somebody is asking, how do you tackle anxiety as an adult? So how do you tackle anxiety as an adult? So you tackle anxiety by trying to figure out why you are anxious. Like I said earlier on, as an adult, at times, like, back in Africa, like I said, you have a million reasons to be anxious. But then you have to figure out what exactly is making you anxious. Is it because, let's say, you're looking for a job and you can't find? Is it because you're broke and you don't have money? Is it because your health, is at stake, you're unwell and you're scared? Or is it because there's something else in your childhood that is kind of holding you captive? Or is it relationship issues? So you have to find the cause. If you find the cause of what it is, the reason why you're anxious as an adult, then you can look for a solution. And like I said, the solution is always never isolate. Speak to somebody that you trust. Get an auntie, get an uncle, a cousin, whoever it is that you trust, and just speak to them. In fact, you can make one of your cousins or your aunties or anybody, turn them into a counselor, turn them to a therapist. Just give them a call and tell them, I feel this way, and honestly, they might be able to help you even before you get to the doctor. So
Mm.
yeah.
All right. Thank you, Gabby.
Is there another question? Yeah. What are alternative means to medicine for managing generalized anxiety and ADHD? Okay, so for generalized anxiety and ADHD. So ADHD is, so for those who are not aware, it's attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. So it's very common in children. So it's basically, like the name implies, hyperactivity. They have less attention. You know, kids, it just is very popular with kids. So alternative means to managing generalized anxiety and ADHD will still be counseling. It will still be getting a psychologist, speaking to them. So first thing first, like I said, you have to know the cause, figure out the cause. Why is this child, having anxiety, or why is this person having anxiety? And if this person has ADHD, have you tried all the therapies, all the things that needs to be done in the house, things that you can adjust? So the first thing will be to speak to your doctor. Speak to your doctor and see what the doctor advises. At times, you see here, what I've realized is that for people that have ADHD, when I was in child psychiatry, you would have the social worker visiting the school. You will have the psychologist as well visiting the school, the child's school, because there are things that the teachers can modify to make this child better. You don't need to put the child on medication as a psychiatrist. So if the teacher can, if the psychologist or the social worker or the occupational therapist, whoever they are, these people are, so they work with the psychiatrist. So if they can, do a school visit or do a home visit, they can advise you on things that you need to change in the house, methods of discipline that you need to change, methods of, handling your child, speaking to your child, or, just basic things that you need to change. So these are ways that you can avoid medicine for managing this. So it goes the same way with anxiety as well. Basically, therapy, counseling, speak to somebody, and you will find a way out.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. This is
So,
amazing. Amazing discussion this evening. Amazing discussion. It's really
so
a soul-searching
somebody,
discussion.
I think there's another question here as well. It says, are you rightly say counseling is not readily available in Africa? If a family member is caught up in this web, what lifestyle will you advise for such a person outside of medication? So counseling. So this is from my little knowledge of when I practiced in Africa. Counseling is not readily available in the public hospitals. No, I haven't even heard of it. That that they have psychologists on board. No. So, but if you go private, like some of the doctors back in Nigeria, they knew a lot of psychologists that they could even link you in, but you'll be paying privately. So I'm pretty sure other countries as well, if you go through the private sector, you would have access to the psychologist and they can arrange counseling for you. But if you go through the public hospitals, public route, it might be very hard. You might probably be on the waiting list forever. So that's what I mean. And then if a family member is up in the web, what lifestyle will you advise for such a person outside of medication? So I would say first thing first, again, I go back, do not isolate. If a family member is caught up and you feel concerned that this person is going the wrong way, they're going downhill, what I would say is that try to get them, speak to them first, one on one. If you're close to the person, speak to them one on one. Try to hear what the reason is for them, for their anxiety, for their worries, and all of that. If it's something you can help, fine, help. If it's a lifestyle that you're saying, what kind of lifestyle would you advise? I would say if this person is somebody who hangs out with the wrong set of people, they do drugs or things like that, that's the first thing that you need to help them with. If they have a bad lifestyle, anxiety gets worse with drugs, addiction, alcohol, smoking, all of these things. They make your anxiety double or triple.
Wow.
So if there's a lifestyle that you think that person is on, then you need to correct them because medication will not even help you if a person is having such a lifestyle and they are anxious. So yeah. Next is
Oh, amazing.
so managing generalized anxiety disorder locally. Do not isolate.
Do not
Yes,
isolate,
absolutely.
like Dr. Gabby. Do
Absolutely.
not
That's
isolate.
the message. That's it.
Let me just
Absolutely.
confirm. Do we have any other question? Has all the question? We have all the questions been answered? If your question hasn't been answered, please do well to bring your question up because we are running out of time. So just kindly reprint your question again, and then we'll just have a quick summary and we'll let Dr. Gabby go. So if you have a question that hasn't been answered or you're still wanting to ask some other questions, please feel free. We have the next 10 minutes to just wrap it up. It's past our normal time for laws, but thank you so much for staying through with us. Thank you for sticking. And I hope you're learning. Like I said, this is not for you alone. This is for somebody close to you. This is for a friend. This is for a family member. And that's why I kept saying, please kindly share this video. Kindly share this video. If you haven't shared it on your timeline, it is not too late to share this video. So please share the video. Let someone learn something. Thank you so much, Dr. Gabby. Thank you so much. I think we don't have any question. So if we don't have any question, please drop a 2 for Dr. Gabby. Drop a 2 for Dr. Gabby. Let's just say thank you to Dr. Gabby in the comment section. Let's blow her mind. We thank you. Let's say thank you. Thank you, Gabby. This is so, 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 so interesting. It's like eye-opening. I think I need to go and sit down, check myself. Hopefully, I'm not in that situation, because sometimes I get worried. I worry over things that I just on a normal day I can just start worrying. So I'll just need to go look through myself, find out why am I being worried for things that I'm not supposed to be worried about. So put a 2 for Dr. Gabby. If you have learned something this evening, put a 2. If you have learned something this evening, put a 2 for Gabby. Put a 2 for Dr. Gabby. Yep, the twos are coming.
Thank
The
you, thank you,
twos are
thank you so much,
coming. The
guys.
twos are coming. Thank you, Dr. Gapman. The twos are coming. Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Doctor. Two, two, two. It means thank
Thank you,
you. It
guys.
means thank you. It means thank you. Thank you, Bolaji. Thank you, baby Sally. Our mother is right here on the show tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you, Benjamin Ketura. Thank you. Keep putting your twos. Keep putting your twos. Sadly, I came late to the party. Oh, there's a replay. There's always a replay. But then it is all good. Thank you, Gomi, for coming. Thank you, Elizabeth. drop a two, drop a two. So Dr. Gabby, just to take advantage of the opportunity that we have with you tonight, can we please ask that should in case we have some, pressing people in our DMs that really want to talk
Mhm.
to a doctor, the way you have spoken now, we know that you are highly professional. We know that
Ah,
you can help our
please,
situation.
don't feel my DM. No, I'll collect consultation fee.
Can we come for some consultations, please?
Consultation fee applies.
I'm her manager in this right now. Pay to me, pay to our loss account, pay to our loss account.
Oh God.
Please, in
Yes,
case
please
you
feel
have
free.
you are in a situation, your child, your family member, someone that it's that what we have said this evening, what she has spoken about this evening is applicable to that person. Please feel free to DM me and we will pass your message across to her. She's very gracious and generous like that. Don't worry about consultation fee. Just tell me you are from laws. We got you covered, baby. We got you covered. We are here for you. So thank you so much, Dr. Gapman. Thank you so much. It's been amazing having you on the show. And I believe we don't have any question and we have answered all your questions. And just to recap, generalized anxiety disorder can be caused by so many things. It could be from lack of money, societal issues, family issues. There is no particular reason for it, but it has to do with extended worries. When you're worried for no just reasons, anything makes you worried, you are at the verge of being qualified under generalized anxiety disorder. And it has to affect almost every area of your life, like your working area. You don't go to work, you don't socialize with people again, you just isolate, and your whole life is just it's been affected that way. And then she said some of the symptoms we can start noticing if the person eats too much or too less. No, too much. She didn't say too less. If the person begins to eat too much as a means of comfort, if the person sleeps too much or too less, then you can begin to know that something is wrong. And she said some of the solutions we have, is it CBT, cognitive, something, something, something.
Yeah,
I don't know how she
CBT.
called it,
Yeah.
but then it has to do with a therapy. It's a therapy that, it's a one-on-one therapy with the therapies before giving you drugs. So they don't really recommend drugs at the first instance. You need to see a therapist that go through with you. And also she said locally, if we're not able to go for this medical side of it, you can go local by talking to someone. You can find someone, just like I said the last event, it must be someone that can understand you. Don't go and talk to anybody. Find someone
Mm.
that can understand you. You need to find the reason why you are being worried, why you're being anxious. You need to find the reason why, and then speak to someone medically and non-medically. So I hope I've been able to say something from what she has said. It might not be exactly what she said, but I know that I just said something. And me, I have learned for myself, and I hope you have learned for yourself. So when you realize you're losing motivation, when you realize you're laid back, everything makes you worried, then my girl, you are on that verge of anxiety disorder. So please drop what you have learned in the comment section tonight before we say good night. What have you learned? All right, I'll take it easy. I'll take it easy. Just we will drop a week nuggets over the weekend. We'll drop some nuggets just so you can go through it. But what she has said is
Google.
just when you start losing motivation, when you are laid back, when everything makes you worried, when you begin to sleep too much or too less, when you start eating too much, you are at the verge of anxiety disorder. So we should start thinking this person needs help. And how to seek for help, you need to talk to your therapist, you need to talk to your family members, you need to talk to your church, where you find comfort and where you think you can be understood. And if go no go, you see say no work like that, you need to go through some sections, therapeutical sections. You need to go through some you need to start taking some medication because it deteriorates. So they don't want you to, commit suicide or things like that. generally, and basically that's what she has said, Gumi, today. So I hope I've been able to pass the message. Thank you, Dr. Gabby. We love you.
Thank you, guys.
And we look forward to bringing you back in August, because from the biography you sent to us, it shows you have some great advantage in the areas of cancer. So you're able to talk to us on cervical cancer and some other cancers. So we look forward to having a time with you in August. So guys, thank you so much. It's been amazing. Let's tell that to
No
God. Thank
worries.
you one more time. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. It was lovely having you all. Thanks for having me. Bye, bye, bye.
Is that a question?
Bye, bye, bye.
Is that a question? Thanks for a good session. I eat a lot and have less sleep, but when I sleep, I intentionally want to sleep a lot. I am fat and ugly, and it seems I can't help myself. I would like to believe it's more than just anxiety. I think it approaches. Sorry, I can't see what's down there. It's covered.
So
But
it's,
what
I
is the
think,
difference between anxiety and depression?
so I think then I had surgery. A lump was taken out. So sorry if the video is darker. I think my something has gone off. Just so then I had a surgery. A lump was taken out of my neck, and after 2 years, it's growing back. Should I be concerned? Definitely seek medical help quickly. If there's a lump that was taken out 2 years ago and it's growing back, seek medical help. Absolutely, go for a doctor to do a scan. Sorry, I missed the main question, the first part of the question. Gumi's question, the first part. Thanks for the good session. I eat a lot and I have less sleep. But when I sleep, I intentionally want to sleep a lot. I am fat. Oh gosh. You're not fat and you're not ugly, no? And it seems I can't help myself. I, I would like to believe it's more than just anxiety. I think it's depression. But my question will be, what's the difference between anxiety and depression? All right. So from what I said earlier on, the difference. So there is no real difference between anxiety and depression. The symptoms are very intertwined. People that have depression can present very anxious. People that have anxiety can present with low mood and be depressed. So from what I said earlier on, it will be that the difference will be that if you feel that you're having all these symptoms are very classical of depression. Unfortunately, they're very, very classical. But like I said, you might be anxious at some point. You might be anxious, you might be worried and nervous and all of this. So yes, it might be that you need help. If there's somebody close by, if you like I said, first thing first, don't isolate. It's good that you're talking. Get someone, speak to somebody, and then get the help of a psychiatrist. Absolutely, absolutely. I would advise this 100%. Because the thing is that if you're sleeping less, or you're sleeping more and then you feel low and you don't feel too good about yourself, it probably means that you just need to have a therapist, like a specialist, having a session with you and just talking you through all of these things without even throwing medication in. No, just a proper professional setup is what you need, just to talk about the reasons why you feel this way, and that person is going to advise you in terms of, okay, we need to do a proper medical examination, because like I said earlier on, anxiety and depression can come even from medical conditions. So you might have medical conditions that would cause you to have symptoms that are manifesting as anxiety and depression, not necessarily a mental health diagnosis of depression and anxiety. No. So if those medical causes are treated, then the symptoms, you would feel better, your mood would be better, you would not feel bad about yourself or low. Or, no. So you need to see a doctor, because a doctor needs to rule out all the medical causes of these symptoms first before he can say, fine, I think you need mental health support and you need counseling or you need medication. So first thing first, see a doctor, let them do examinations, proper exam, rule out medical causes, see the doctor for the growth that is coming back. It might all be That might be a big factor to what, how you're feeling at this point. It might not be mental health. It might not be, no.
All right, let's let you go because if we stay here, we're gonna be here till tomorrow.
All right. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much, Dr. Gabby. We really do appreciate. We thank you. We say a big thank you. We say we love you. We say we want you back again. So we look forward to having you back on the show in August, and I'm sure it's going to be an interesting time. Please make time in your schedule for us. Officially, we're asking you now ahead of time. So we've given you like a month notice. Thank you in advance.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a nice evening.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for
Bye
staying on
bye.
the show till this time. It's 8:30. Thank you so much. I hope you have learned something, and I just pray that we put what we have learned into work. Just from last week, find the reason why you are worried. And see, before we get to that point of trying to find the reason why we are worried, please take life easy, chop life, enjoy yourself. Problem no dey finish. As silly as it sounds, but if you put yourself in a situation where you're worried, there's always something to make you worried. So you need to look past that reason why you need to be worried and, just give yourself the best treatment while you're alive. So enjoy yourself and look after yourself. Take care of yourself. Everyone here is beautifully and wonderfully made. There is no ugly person. There is no anyhow person. As long as you belong to the Lord's family, you are beautiful and you are wonderful just the way you are. Find beauty in yourself and express yourself that way. You are loved and there is always a way out for you. And whatever the situation may be, try to speak to someone. Just try to speak to someone. Your help might just be the next door. It might just be the next person you will pick up your phone. Hey, see, I define urgent 2K. Speak. No matter what, just speak about it. And you will be fine. Okay? So this is me saying thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, guys. It's been an amazing evening. I look forward to having you guys next week. We're having a show next week. So see you here next week, same time, same station. I remain your baby girl for life. I love you. Do have a beautiful weekend. TGIF. Remember to share this video. If you haven't shared the video, share this video with someone. Tell someone you have learned something and there is something for them to learn. So share the video, like the video, comment on the video, and drop what you have learned today right in the comment section. Drop what you have learned, anything that stood out for you, drop it in the comment section and let's spread the good news. Thank you so much. Remember, we are here to inspire and empower each other to succeed. Be you a man, be you a woman. We are here to inspire and empower you to succeed. Until next week, I remain your baby girl, your favorite girl, Rachel K. Good night, everyone. Thank you for joining. Bye.